Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Now, I need some help on how to pronounce your name. Is it Yoshi?
Oh, do you want to guess? No, it's
I,
Yoshie.
I see Yoshia.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshia. And I'm not
Yeah, but I go by Yoshi because
Yoshi. That's
that's
okay.
easier, I
All
think.
right, that is definitely easier. I can handle Yoshi. I can handle that all day.
No, Yoshie.
Yoshia, you throwing a little money. Make it look a little.
Yeah.
Awesome. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little bit nervous for this
Why are
because
you
I
nervous,
rarely do
Yoshi?
interviews.
Why are you nervous? I promise you, this is all about you. I'm not going to ask. Literally, the whole podcast is all about you sharing your story.
Mhm.
What happened in your life that changed your life or made you think about your life differently, or that made you say, hey, I want to go down this particular path.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's literally
See,
that's
see,
it.
that's what I rarely do. That's what I'm not good at. I'm good at supporting people. I'm good at helping people. I'm not the performer who's a lead vocalist. I'm not
Hmm.
I'm
Okay.
not interested in getting the light on me.
You
So
know what, Yoshi? Every last one of us have a story. Every last one of us has been through something.
mm,
And I believe that it could help somebody if you share your story. And that is
yeah.
all that's the only thing I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to dig
I'll
deep.
do my best.
Tell us tell us a little bit about you. And I haven't started recording yet, so I'm gonna do the intro and
Mhm.
all that. But um, so how do you pronounce your last name?
As written, it's almost like African names. You can just try pronouncing as is.
Nakayama?
Uh-huh. There you go.
Hmm.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions before we get started?
What are the questions that I'm gonna get?
So I'm only going to ask you questions if you stop talking.
Okay, okay.
So like
That's
if
very
there's so if it's literally about you. So as you're talking about yourself and your life and your experience and the things that you go through, I'm going to be taking notes. So then if there's something that you share with us that I want you to put more feelings in, or like tell me how you
mm,
felt, Yoshi. Tell me a
yeah,
little bit about that experience. What was your headspace? What were you thinking? I want you to share that emotional aspect of it so the listeners can feel you more.
mm,
So that's when I'm going to get in and jump in and just ask you questions to get you to talk more about those types of things
right.
directly tied to what you share. And because I don't screen my viewers or my guests prior to, and I do that for a reason because I want to hear your story too, and I want to be able to be as authentic as possible with your experience. So as I'm hearing your experience, I'm sharing the moment right along with my listeners. So it's
Mm,
it's something that's powerful and it's authentic and it's not rehearsed.
mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm,
why I do it this way.
right.
And so it's kind of free flowing. Whatever you feel like sharing, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know I may have to pull a couple things out of you. You over here don't want the light, but I'm gonna have to pull a couple things out of you. Seems like.
Okay.
All right.
I once had an interview on a like a local TV show
Uh huh.
where the host is not experienced as a host, and he kept cutting me in the middle of my answers.
Oh man.
And but I also, because it was, they were recording, I couldn't say, "Oh, I'm not done yet."
Right. Right.
Like, oh,
You
okay,
should have. Like, hold on. Excuse me.
maybe.
Yeah.
I
So.
haven't even seen the show. It's been on YouTube, but
Wow. Wow. That is insane. That's insane. Miss Yoshi. All right. Now you don't hesitate to correct me.
okay.
I'm going to be as open and as possible. I'm not going to interrupt you. Um, and we'll go from there. All right.
Sounds great.
Let's get started,
Let's
ladies.
do it.
You got this. You got this. Life Journey podcast is sponsored by Akili Flow. Akili Flow is a culturally centered coaching organization that uses meditation and comedic yoga to help you balance your work and your life. Set up an appointment with them today. Visit www.akiliflow.com. That's AKILIFLOW.com and book your free session. We are back. I'm your host, Demetrius Arik of the Life Journey podcast, the only podcast that uses the experience of their guests to help shape and change the life of its listeners. I'm here today with Yoshie Nakayama. Yay, I got it right.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
And Miss Yoshie is going to share with you guys some of her experiences, some of the things that helped to shape, mold her life, to put her on the path in which she's on and the woman that she has become. This podcast was birthed out of the pretext that every human being has a few defining moments. That's a few things that help to shape their lives to be the individuals that they are today. And Miss Yoshi is going to share hers with us today. Thank you again for being a guest and for sharing with our listeners. Tell us a little bit about Yoshi and what she has endured to be the woman she is today.
Sure. So, where do I start? Um, well, I was born and raised in Tokyo, Japan. Um, when I grew up, we didn't have any even computer at house. I remember my grandma decided to buy our first computer, which was iMac back then, but it was not colorful at all. It was, one of those old one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was born in a Christian family, which is rare in Japan.
I was about to say.
And yeah, and my mom used to teach music at home, teach music, singing, and piano at home. So that's what I observed. And eventually I started joining her kids class where my friends attended. And so my mom started teaching me music and piano and the theory as well. And I joined a school brass band when I entered middle school, and I did this. Have you heard tuba? This brass instrument that's huge. Yeah. So I wanted to do a tuba. Is like
Oh,
that's trombone that you
yeah,
do,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I do now. But at the beginning, I wanted to do a tuba, but then I didn't know the name of the instrument,
Mm.
and I didn't. I ended up doing the euphonium, which is smaller tuba and has a very rich, round, very nice timbre. And yeah, and then I did euphonium for 10 years.
Wow.
And then I wanted to do jazz, which euphonium rarely has place in it. So I changed to trombone to be able to join big bands.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well,
and
wow.
I started. Yeah, I've been doing music pretty much since I was
So how
born.
many different instruments you know how to play?
Well, I only know piano, voice, and euphonium and trombone. So it's
Now,
not
I was on the band as
many.
well, and I learned to play the trumpet and the baritone. And those were the two areas that
Oh, baritone. Yeah, baritone family is the includes
the
euphonium.
tuba, right? Yeah, and
Yeah,
anyway, yep, in that area. Yeah. Okay.
great.
Okay. So you come from a musical background, a music teacher. I'm sure you had to learn music. Music teacher, you know. So
Yeah,
okay, okay. What else about Miss Yoshi?
yeah. So after started enjoying learning music and playing those brass instruments, I went to this college in Tokyo, music college called Kunitachi College of Music,
Okay.
and I majored in music education, and I got the degree. I got the teaching license limited to music at middle school and high school. And although I got the license, I didn't want the responsibility to raise group of kids. It was too much on my shoulder. So I decided not to become music teacher, but instead I just had the job that I had uh, the access to.
Mhm.
I went on easy route,
Okay.
and it was an organization. which is nothing to do with music. And then, but then because of the income, the steady income I had from the organization, I was able to keep working, keep enjoying music in a cappella or big band with trombone, or even some ska with euphonium.
Right.
Can you imagine? And yeah, so I did that. I had that style of life for 10 years right after graduating my first college.
Okay. So number one, you raised in Tokyo on a Christian background. That's unique, you know.
Mhm.
So how was that experience?
Well, I think I feel like I'm only talking about music, but Christian going to church every Sunday helped me improve my music skill, because so we are in Lutheran church where we sing all the time during the service. So we would, hear the organ plays the melody while we look at the book. And so we read the music as we hear how the melody goes. So I feel like that helped my reading skill. And then I would sing the melody first time. And like when you have like hymn song,
Mhm.
you sing at least 2 times the same melody. And when it's sometimes like 4 or 5 times.
Right.
So I don't want to sing like the melody all the time. So I would just sing the melody first, and then I would go to the alto, I would do the tenor, and then I go back to maybe soprano, and then I just enjoy this, reading those different parts.
Right.
So also, my mother used to be a music director of the church, so she would direct the choir. She would play the organ where I would sit next to her and just hang in there, or I would play trombone or euphonium with her organ, or we would listen to the strings ensemble at the Christmas Eve service or Easter concert and stuff. So our church actually have many musicians. So I feel like the church uh, put the seed of music in me.
And so it definitely helped to foster and train and um, to compound the lessons that you learned at home, and then to have it experienced at church, and then to have
Mm-hmm.
the engagement with the audience kind of help to build your confidence, your love for it, and your appreciation, and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. Okay, okay, I hear you, Yoshi. I hear you, Yoshi. So, what else has happened in Miss Yoshi's life?
Yeah, so after 10 years of working at the organization, keep doing music as hobby, I said to myself, I'm okay. Okay, I'm not gonna spend next 10 years the same way, because I went to the
Yes.
college where my parents spent a bunch of money, and I spent there for 4 years. I did music for the whole life pretty
Right.
much. So I decided to switch my job to professional musician, but at the same time, what I had the license as a teacher and the knowledge from the classical music college didn't match to what I wanted to do back then, because I didn't really listen to classical music. Of course, I enjoy listening to like orchestral concert, but do I listen to classical music at home? No. so I ended up applying for Berklee College of Music, because I always had the admiration to English speaking country, because my grandma so my great grandfather was a Japanese ambassador. So my grandma would spend her childhood in abroad, and she speaks English. She's still doing good in Tokyo. She's 100 years old now.
Wow, congratulations.
And my mom studied abroad. Studied in the U.S. She studied Christian music. So I have those my mom and grandma speaking to me in English sometimes, and they have non-Japanese friends hanging around sometimes. So I always had the idea of visiting abroad or like living abroad. So
Mhm.
and then I had the financial power
Right.
to do that
You do it.
from,
Right.
you know, working at the office for 10 years. And if I quit the job, I would, you know, they would pay me for quitting. So yeah, so I went to this music camp in Connecticut, where this mentor of mine, who's Yumiko Matsuoka, she teaches at Berkeley for decades, and she is a member, founder of this a cappella group called Vox One, and I wanted to do a cappella, so so I started doing choir from high school and then the college, and then so singing at church like shifted to singing in choir, and then the choir shifted to a cappella. So I was doing the trombone or euphonium as well as singing in choir or a cappella, which I missed to tell you. And then singing to me was more enjoyable because I felt like that's more challenging than playing instrument, because it's your voice, you can never see the instrument, so it's more direct. So I wanted to improve or see my ability in a cappella singing, and I wanted to learn how to write music or how to produce by myself, because good singers are everywhere, but good a cappella producer, not many.
Right.
So I asked the advice to Yumiko, and she invited me to come over to the summer camp in Connecticut. So I did that, and then at the camp, I saw like from high schoolers to elderly people, even with the, how do you say, the air support system with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just basically singing all the time, like from the morning till the evening. And that's the atmosphere I've never seen in Japan. I don't think it exists even to this day. Like it's just people gather just to sing together, like all those different generations, backgrounds. And the weather was good. You know, it was at the college in Connecticut, and was surrounded by green, and the campus is nice and big, which is rare in Japan. So all those experience inspired me a lot, but I still didn't know that I wanted to study again. I just wanted to shift my profession.
Right.
And then Yumiko advised me to go to Berkeley, and yeah, so that's what happened after the camp.
So you wound up going to Berkeley, and what was that like? Now you're going from college in Japan, now you're in the States, and this is a totally different college, different experience. How was that experience for you, Yoshie?
Sure. So when I decided to apply, my those big band friends or singing friends ask me, why do you do that in the US? It costs more. You have the challenge with the language difference and cultural difference, and I didn't have clear answer to them. I just wanted to do that because living abroad was my dream in a way.
Right.
So I just wanted to do that. And then when I did that, I saw these fellow students from all over the world. Almost half of the students are international at Berkeley, and even with Japanese students are more aspired like than music students in Japan. And so that was very inspiring. And also all the teachers at Berkeley are very active in still, they're very active in the industry still, and then they teach as well.
Wow.
Or those legendary trombone player that I had the honor to have the lesson with, his name is Phil Wilson. He worked with Buddy Rich Orchestra. He arranged for the band. He played in the band. He also played with Ella Fitzgerald. So he would, I know, he would share all those stories behind the scenes.
Wow.
So those are just priceless. You can never get that experience in anywhere else, even in the US. So I did spend all the saving from 10 years of working and those money from quitting the company, but it's all worth it. It's just priceless. You just have to do it and experience it. And the connection that I made, those are also priceless.
I
Yeah.
was just about to say that,
Yeah.
not only learning from some of the greats, that exposure, it's just some things that's not in a book, that you can
Exactly.
get from that face-to-face interaction. It's those conversations that, they can say one or two things that change your life just listening to them, or change your view on things. So you can't get that anywhere else. Then you get the opportunity to network and meet people that have so many different connections. And
Yeah.
it's opened up, they may know somebody in their connection that may, be able to help you. So I think
Yeah.
that was awesome. So
Yeah. It's
now,
been, yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. It's still inspiring forever. I think it's going to be just forever inspiring to me being in the Berkeley community, because all those friends who studied together, who played together at Berkeley, are winning Grammys, winning Latin Grammys. They work with Beyonce. They work with this person, that person. It's just insane,
Right.
So I always uh, feel, okay, I have to do more. This is not enough. I have to always work in my best ability.
Well, you know what, you've been in a you've been in a highly competitive field with some esteemed individuals. They're going to always challenge you.
Exactly.
You're going to make you want to be your best and show up in your best.
Yeah.
So how has music, I mean, from everything you've shared, music has been instrumental in your life in general, and
Mm.
shaped you to be the woman that you are today. What do you attribute that passion for music and constant elevation and changing, of music in your life? What do you associate that from? Like, do you
Mm.
believe it's come from your upbringing? Do you believe it comes from your mom? Do you just believe that you learned to have a love for it? What do you think?
So your question is how I could contribute
Mm-hmm.
to the music. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my main passion is to arrange existing music. That's what I enjoy the most, and perform it, or be, my piece will be being performed by musicians and stuff. Um, that's because when I felt the power of arrangement when I was in Japan, I was watching this TV concert show, um, where this trombone player called, his name is Yoichi uh, Mura Mura. Oops. This trombone player performing on the show on his arrangement, and that was very um, surprising to me, because I knew the original song and I didn't really thought about arrangement. Like, it's just, if you didn't know, you don't think about it, right? So I felt like, wow, arrangement is cool. And if I didn't, if it wasn't performed on the TV, I would, like, there are many songs that I would hear from the covering artist
Yeah.
where I didn't know the original song. For example, I listened to Don't You Worry About the Thing, first time that's performed by Incognito, if you know the UK band.
Mm-hmm.
And but I didn't know Stevie's version. And yeah, there are so many other songs like that. I learned from the covering artist, and then I look for the original song like
Original.
that. So it just expands the possibility for this great songs to reach to more listeners. So I feel like it's such a great contribution for great songs to, yeah, to reach more listeners if I arrange them nicely. And for example, I've been working on this traditional Japanese songs arrangement in a cappella, and I would work on it, and then I would sing on it, and then put it on a YouTube video, and so. And I would also sell the music on the online,
Mm-hmm.
and people can purchase it for like $5 if they want to perform the song, which I put the Japanese character as well as the English alphabet, so non-Japanese people can also read and pronounce and sing it.
Wow.
So that's kind of, yeah, that's what I've started.
Well, that's pretty
after graduating.
cool.
Yeah,
You should
that
pat
way.
yourself on that.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I didn't really see the identity as a Japanese until I came to the US. It's funny, like if once you get out of your house, you see the household in a different point of view. It's like, you know, you never know your appreciation to your parents until you
Right.
get out.
Yes. Yes.
So now I see how unique Japanese traditional music is, and it has this, you know, own scale that's unique. So I tried to, yeah, to enjoy those songs that I sang as a kid, and also try to have more people to be interested who are not Japanese, especially.
So, what do you see for yourself in the next 5 years, Yoshie?
Next 5 years. Well, if I could stay in the US, which is not under my control, um, yeah, um, I would love to be involved in one of those hours. That would make me easier to get the visa renewed. But it's not only for visa, of course, but it's just, you know, something, some kind of milestone for me to be proud of.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I do want to go back to your arranged music because you spoke about that. I don't know if my listeners know what arranged music is. Can you
Oh, sure, sure. Yeah.
explain to them what
So
arranged music is?
So I would arrange music, for example, when my piano students would like to play Imagine Dragon song on piano. So those songs are, well, there are so many different ways of arrangement. For example, when, you know, someone wants to play a band song on piano, then the piano is apparently the instrumentation is different. So you have to reduce all the sounds involved into the piano setting.
Mhm.
Or sometimes you can, if you're a singer, you want to sing Stevie Wonder's song, maybe not Stevie Wonder, he has higher register, but someone who's a baritone singing a melody pretty low, but you're a soprano singer who still wants to sing the song. So the arranger come in and change the key of the song from, say, la 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 to la 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 la, something like that. So the singer who has higher register can sing easily. Or you can also expand the piano piece into orchestra as an arranger. Or you can also, what I do is to um, add strings lines in a song that's not strings in it, like originally.
Okay.
Or put the horn lines, or put the, you know, when there's only the lead vocal, but she or he, the artist wants the backup vocal added in it. So I would write the backup vocal lines,
Right.
something like that.
So as an arranger, you pretty much you listen to the piece, and you determine how to convert that whatever that sound is to a different octave or a different level. Or if it's something that
Yeah,
you want to add, as an arranger piece, you figure out how to mesh that so that that addition flows without
yeah,
disrupting that music. Okay.
yeah, depending on the setting that's needed.
Gotcha. Okay. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and there's so much knowledge and so much options that you could expand, and
Then
it's
yeah,
fun.
and it goes back to your ear too. You have to have the ear for that,
Exactly.
the insight to be able to pair that, the knowledge to go with it. So
Hmm.
that definitely can require some.
Yeah, I feel like that the ear is more important than the knowledge, because if you have good ears, you don't really need the knowledge, I feel like.
Okay. Okay. So what would you share for someone that's looking to get into the music industry as a as a beginner, and how would you encourage them to follow their
Hmm.
dreams in music?
I think what I found for myself when I was about to graduate from Berkeley is that being at the music education course made me create a bunch of different music that I never even thought about doing. So I think it's important to try and do and experience errors, what works, what don't works, and try to explore what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Just kind of explore, learn yourself in a way. And sometimes I don't really listen to like heavy rock, but I do enjoy working on heavy rock songs if there's requests. So it's all those, you never know what comes around. So it's always important to know yourself, and at the same time not to limit yourself. For example, I might say, oh, I don't do heavy metal, but at the same time maybe I would enjoy, so I would just say yes, first, and then think about it later.
Commit so that you have to do it,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
it gives you the exposure, then you may like it, you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, but the word exposure is very tricky in the music industry. I think most of the freelancing industry, maybe it's people ask for your skill or your talent to work in exchange to exposure. That's dangerous. If you're a beginner, sure, but if you have certain knowledge and skills, you have to start saying no at certain time. Like you have to, get money to make living. So
right.
Yeah, that's something.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's
one
good
has to
information.
think about it too. Yeah.
It's good information. So get out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Don't be afraid. Don't put yourself in a box.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, Miss Yoshie. Now you have taken us on a journey from Japan all the way to the States. What were some of your experiences once you got to the States? What was the first thing you did when you got to the States?
Huh. Well, my baggage got destroyed by the flight company, so I had to claim. But I don't think that's the question you were asking.
A good experience.
Well, that's memorable.
Yes.
But well, I remember first few semesters were the challenge with all those language and cultural differences. For example, in Japan, you have to raise your hand to go to bathroom. You have to raise your hand to say something during the class, or you have to sit straight, and you shouldn't eat during the class or drink. So that was very different, and also the generation difference, because I had 10 years after my first college to go to Berkeley. So all those technical differences, like you would submit online, whoa, what's that? I didn't have that. So yeah, but I basically enjoyed all those differences, and I tried to make friends, especially non-Japanese friends, because I wanted to improve my English. So yeah, but I remember one of those first classes at Berkeley, I would raise my hand and ask for the meaning of very basic words like what is quarter note, what is notation, and then get all the stare from the classmates. Yeah, what are you doing in this room? What are you doing in this college? But yeah, so yeah. But at the same time, I enjoyed interacting with my fellow classmates who are sometimes almost half of my age when they're straight out of high school. But yeah, it's just I cherish all my experience and memory from Berkeley.
I love it. I love it. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing today. I know you say that you arrange music and you have music for sale today. So what are you up to today?
Yeah, so well, I teach piano, as I mentioned.
Okay.
And so that also leads to arranging piano piece for very beginner to intermediate. I also arrange for singer-songwriter, like I mentioned, string arrangement. I also work with this singer-songwriter who's in West Hollywood. He wants me to produce his album, his first album. So I've been working with him closely, giving musical ideas and giving him the idea of releasing music, the strategy. And yeah, and I also work with this Grammy nominated singer group called Sage. They are 4 female singers. They're just brilliant. If you don't know them, you're missing out. Yeah, I worked for helping them create band parts. They're hugely jazz improvising group, so they don't necessarily have parts sometimes. So they need, for their live performances, they need to update their parts where they can, absolutely, but they need help with, so they can focus on creating new stuff and such.
What's the name of that group again?
Sage, S-A with Umlaut, J-E.
J-E.
They're just phenomenal.
Okay. Awesome. And you said you had music for sale?
Yeah, so those are sheet music.
Okay.
Online. You can Google with SMP Yoshie Nakayama, and you should be able to find my sheet music. For now, there are about 40 sheet music of mine. There are piano music, a cappella music on any like female, male, mixed,
Okay.
and some trombone quartet, brass sextet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And so it's already gone on 40 minutes, Miss Yoshie. Thank you for sharing with our listeners. I would like for you to share one last word of wisdom to our listeners today.
Okay. I think don't be afraid. Just try if you are interested, and you can regret later. But you cannot not do and regret later. That's worse.
That's the worst. Absolutely. Do something. Act, move,
Yes.
complete something, try something. You know, that is important. You know, like you said, if you want to regret, you can't regret if you haven't done it.
Exactly.
So try something.
Yeah, that's actually what I got from Yumiko Matsuoka, who advised me to go to Berkeley. I was not sure what to do after the summer camp that I mentioned,
Right.
and she's like, if you're not unsure at this point, why don't you just go to Berkeley? You don't wanna regret 10 years later. You just have to make a choice that you won't regret 10 years later.
And I have to go back to this because this is amazing. Your grandmother is 100 years old.
Yeah.
And how is she? How's she doing?
She's doing great. She doesn't speak much, but I know that she cares about me and her, my siblings and my parents, and yeah, she's doing healthy.
That is the key, So she has healthy genes in her generation.
Yeah.
So what 100, when you hit 100, you know what you're gonna look like and how you come. So you're gonna be
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, Josie, thank you so very much for sharing your story with my listeners. We truly appreciate your time and your energy. I appreciate you spending some time and energy with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you for letting me share my story.
Thank you again, Ms. Yoshie. You have a great day. Until the
You
next
too.
time.